Here's a question I want you to hold on to for the next few minutes. Why can one person feel like 7 completely different people, all before lunch? Focused for an hour, then gone for 40 minutes. Calm 1 second, in tears the next. Brilliant with ideas, but somehow still running on empty by 3 p.m. Keep that question in the back of your mind, because by the end of this, you're going to have the answer. And it's probably going to explain more of your life than you expect. You're sitting down to work. You have 3 hours. The task is simple. You open your laptop, and 40 minutes disappear. Not because you were lazy, not because you didn't care, because your brain went somewhere else without asking your permission. And then the guilt hits, that heavy, familiar guilt. Why can't I just focus like everyone else? Here's what almost nobody tells you: the overthinking, the daydreaming, the crying about nothing, the 40 minutes that vanished. They feel completely unrelated, but they might all trace back to the exact same root. There's a small experiment researchers have run for decades. Give a child a marshmallow. Tell them if they wait 15 minutes without eating it, they get a second one. Most kids struggle a little. Some kids can't wait 10 seconds. For years, that second group got labeled impulsive, undisciplined, needs more willpower. But newer research tells a different story. For some brains, waiting isn't a willpower problem. It's a wiring problem. The reward system fires differently. The future feels foggy and far away, while right now feels loud and urgent. That single shift. It's not weakness, it's wiring, is the thread running through everything you're about to hear. And it's the first clue to that question I asked you a minute ago. At first, this doesn't even look like ADHD. It looks like anxiety. Picture someone sending a text, a simple one, then watching the 3 dots appear and disappear on the other end, then rereading their own message 4 times, hunting for a tone that isn't there. That's the overthinker. Their brain doesn't run on one track. Imagine standing in the middle of a 10-lane highway while 10 different thoughts try to cross at the same time. No traffic lights, no order, just noise. This isn't about caring too little. It's about a brain that struggles to close open loops. A conversation from Tuesday can still be running in the background on Friday, quietly draining energy nobody can see. People call it overreacting. It's closer to a smoke detector that's a little too sensitive. Doing its job, just going off for the toast, not just the fire. Myth versus fact for a second. Myth, ADHD means you can't focus. Fact, many people with ADHD can focus intensely, on the wrong thing, at the wrong time, for way too long. It's not a focus deficit, it's a focus regulation issue. The dial gets stuck on either nothing or everything. Hold on to that. It explains almost everyone on this list, including the next person. Composed, reliable, the one everyone leans on. But behind a carefully controlled smile, a quieter battle is happening. This is the masker. Alarms for things that shouldn't need alarms. Reminders for reminders. Not out of extra discipline, but because without the scaffolding, everything quietly collapses. They cry in the car before work, then walk in and nobody notices a thing. Here's the unsettling part. Masking can work so well that even the person doing it stops recognizing what's underneath. They just think they're a bit much, never realizing they've spent a decade compensating for something they never got a name for. Somewhere, right now, someone with ADHD has 47 browser tabs open, 3 unfinished cups of coffee going cold, and has just remembered, mid-conversation, that they left the stove on. And somehow, they're still the most fun person at the party. Not everything about this is heavy. Some of it is genuinely, chaotically funny. Once you understand it instead of judging it. This one hides in plain sight because it looks like imagination, not disorder. The daydreamer stares out of windows, forgets what they walked into a room for. starts a sentence and loses the ending halfway through. As a kid, this person got called a space cadet more times than they can count. Nobody asked what they were paying attention to instead. Usually it was something better, a story, a memory, a future they were quietly building in their head. Their mind isn't empty, it's overcrowded, just with things reality didn't offer. Some people feel this differently, not in their thoughts, in their whole body, leg tapping without noticing, talking a little too fast, laughing a little too loud, an itch under the skin during anything slow. This is the restless one, and the giveaway is physical, not mental. While the daydreamer escapes inward, this person releases energy outward into movement, sound, motion. A stillness-obsessed world calls this too much energy. It might just be a body that was never given permission to move the way it needed to. Then there's the reaction, not the rumination. The overthinker replays things before they happen. This next type reacts after. A small comment ruins an entire afternoon. A kind gesture feels like being truly seen for the first time in weeks. Joy and sadness, back to back, in the same hour, with almost no warning between them. This is the emotional storm. Not thinking too much, feeling at full volume, with no dimmer switch. Many of these people grew up hearing "calm down" so often that they learned to hide the storm entirely, which just meant it happened later, alone, where nobody could see it. Here's an aha most people miss. Perfectionism in this context can actually be a disguised form of procrastination. If the plan has to be flawless before you start, you never really have to start. It feels like high standards. It often functions as a very sophisticated form of avoidance, which brings us to someone you already know. The last-minute hero pulls off incredible work 2 hours before the deadline. Every time. Not because they enjoy pressure, because their brain often doesn't shift into full gear until panic removes every other option. People say, "See, you didn't need to worry." They don't see the war underneath, wanting to start early, genuinely trying to, and simply not being able to make the engine turn over until the deadline lights the fuse. Every time it works, it teaches the wrong lesson, that this is just how life has to feel. Exhausted, just in time. Always. And finally, the flip side of the daydreamer. Ideas exploding outward instead of inward. The creative chaos type starts 10 projects and finishes 2. Not from lack of intelligence, from a mind generating faster than any system built to contain it. The giveaway here isn't imagination alone, it's output. Notebooks half-filled, businesses half-built, brilliant, unfinished things everywhere. Give this person the right structure, and that same scattered energy has built some of the most original art, companies, and ideas in history. So, remember that question from the very beginning? Why can one person feel like 7 completely different people before lunch? Here's your answer. Because they were never 7 different people. They're one person, wearing different masks depending on the moment. The overthinker at 9 a.m. becomes the emotional storm by 9 p.m. The person masking all day becomes the restless one, or the creative chaos type the second they're finally alone. That's not 7 disorders. That's one underlying pattern, showing up differently depending on stress, environment, and how safe someone feels in the moment. Same brain, different lighting. Which one made your chest tighten a little? That flicker of recognition wasn't an accident. To be clear, this isn't a diagnosis, and patterns like these are worth exploring with an actual professional, not a video. But recognizing yourself in a pattern is often the first honest step toward understanding it. Before you go, if you saw yourself somewhere in this, drop the type in the comments. You might be surprised how many people reply with the exact same one. If you recognized yourself in even one of these, you are not lazy, you are not broken, you are not too much. You are a person whose mind moves differently in a world that mostly rewards one kind of thinking. One thing to actually do with this week, notice which situation brings out which version of you. The deadline that triggers the last-minute hero. The quiet room that turns you into the daydreamer. The offhand comment that summons the storm. You don't have to fix any of it today. You just have to start noticing the pattern instead of fighting it blind. Because the moment you understand your mind instead of resenting it, you stop working against yourself and finally start working with the brain you actually have.